Imagine playing a game for years only to realize that you never even understood the rules. Well, that was me early in my career with my investing. I definitely thought I was doing it right. I read the books, I followed the advice, and I played it safe. But looking back, it was like I was watching someone move pieces around the board, hoping for checkmate. When I was about 6 or 7, my dad taught me to play chess, and I thought, few rules, easy enough for a kid. And we played together for years, and I thought I was pretty decent until I entered a chess tournament where I was completely clobbered. My strategy was to wait for them to make a mistake. Maybe I was going to get lucky with a flash of brilliance. And it sounds really silly, but that's how I approached investing in the early years. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, no clear plan. And it's not that I was lazy, I just was in motion, but not thinking about strategy. And motion isn't the same as progress. In hindsight, I realized I could have made fewer better moves, and I definitely could have got further ahead faster, but I didn't know how to think about the game. And I see that in so many people I speak to today. The best example, a famous person, was Mike Tyson. He earned almost $750 million during his boxing career, making up to $30 million a fight. But in 2003, he filed for bankruptcy. He was wild with his spending. He had so much talent, but lost the lot through lack of stewardship. So it's not judgment, it's just a pattern. But understand this, high income is not the same as lasting wealth, and it definitely is a lesson worth paying attention to. Most people get stuck because they confuse activity with progress. They chase tactics instead of thinking in systems. They're following a script designed for someone else's life, and they're afraid that they're doing everything right, but they still won't get there. What we all want is we want clarity on what to do next. We want to have control over our money and choices, and we want confidence that we're actually on the right track so that we can live life on our terms. Like, we don't want to be running the default script. So people will usually come and see me because they're not where they want to be financially. And I always ask, regardless of where they are on the income scale or where they are on their timeline, I ask them 5 simple questions. And this essentially forms the semblance of the plan that we build out. So the first question I'm asking them is to answer the question, where are they now? And that could be a simple stock take around what are they earning, what assets or investments do they already have, what's their experience, what's their risk appetite, like just questions about who are they today. The next question I'm asking them is what do they want? Do they want to buy a house? Are they looking to retire? What is it that they want? And be super concrete about it. It has to be very specific. The third question I'm asking them is by when? What is your timeline? Then I'm saying fuel. The fourth question is fuel. Of the income that you are generating, how much of it can you consistently set aside as savings or fuel to grow your wealth? So how can we actually take on some investments? And then finally, I'm asking them about milestones. What is it that might happen in the next period of time before this goal is met that may influence that? So for example, a younger person might be getting married, taking a sabbatical, having a baby, could be any number of things, could be surgery. But the idea is you want to capture those. So those are our 5 questions. So I'll just be super clear. Where are you now? What do you want? By when? How much fuel can you contribute? And then number 5, are there any milestones that may influence this? And this is the beginning of a plan. It doesn't need to be long and complex. You can summarize those ideas on a single page. But let me walk you through a clear example. So let me choose a pink color here. So imagine you are 27 years old, you are working full-time, and your after-tax income is $75,000. You have, at the moment, $12,000 saved, and you have no investments. Then we come up here. What is it that this person actually wants? So they want to buy first home, and to do that, they want to save a $100,000 deposit. Then we say, well, by when do they want to be able to do that? And in this person's mind, the ideal timeline is 5 years. Now, when we come to the question of fuel, this person is sharing a house with somebody else. They have living expenses, but they think they can reasonably set aside $1,500 per month as fuel along the way to support this goal. Now, your simple 1-page plan might at least include that. And maybe from a milestones point of view, in 2 years, they want to take a 4-week holiday, and that's going to cost X. So we're going to bake that into their plan as well. So simple questions, 5 simple questions. Now they can start to explore, well, how are they going to get there? Because obviously most people, it's not a straight line. It might be like this, or it might be like this. Maybe this person in this instance thinks that they might take on a second job or a side hustle in order to get there faster. But that's it. We're not talking about a 40-page document. 5 questions and 5 honest answers. And most people, they can't even answer those 5 questions, not because they're not smart, but because they've never asked, or they've never thought to ask themselves. So they're playing the investing game without knowing what they're playing for. So investing is not the game. It's just the moves. The real game is building a life that you don't want to escape from. So instead of looking at things like, is this a good deal, which isn't a bad question, it's more about, does this next move align with my plan? So if you can answer those 5 questions as a starting point, you will separate yourself from what 99% of other investors do. 85% of Australians don't feel confident in their investing decisions, and 60% of adults still feel like home ownership's out of reach. Big problem. We're taught to go to school, get a job, work for 45 years and retire. But what if you want more than that? What if you want to try other things? What if you want options? The idea is simple. What if we built financial capability faster so we can reclaim our time, freedom and choice? So in the ICanBeWealthy world, we don't chase returns. Most of the people who reach financial capability or independence early, they don't start with high incomes. They start with a system, one they can live with and one that is easily repeatable. So if this made you pause, great. That's where better questions begin. You don't need a spreadsheet. You need a game plan. And that's what I'm trying to unpack in this series. And if you want more strategies like this, come join my newsletter, The Wealth Game Plan. It's meant to be practical, thoughtful, no fluff, because I want you to win with money.